So I've been building relationships and alliances left and right. And right now in my tribe, this is what I'm looking at. My whole policy has been like, I'm not having a true ride or die person. I'm having options, and I have one that I favor, sure, but I'm not actually being like super committed to that level, because my whole strategy is the fact that I'm acting that I'm not a big social player, and basically going to people and saying, how can I help you out in your strategy, and being just an overall team player and just really honest. And I've been going to just about everyone, a lot of them one-on-one about that kind of stuff, and they've been really receptive, you know? So no one gets to know my actual strategy in this game. That is not being revealed to anyone, because I feel like that totally ruins it. So right now, here's the layout, and I'm going to do my best to explain it. There's a lot going on.
Okay.
So right now, my favorite ride or die is with Becca.
Okay.
Mostly because she was the first one to actually come to me about it, which is always a plus. Shortly after that, we got an immediate 4 that Becca also initiated with me, Becca, Gracie, and Luke. And we were all about it right from the get-go. We were talking about probably adding in Louis as a 5th somewhere. So that was right off the bat. Now, further down the line, I've been trying to talk to everyone. I talked to Donna, I talked to Jason, and said like, hey, towards the end, I think that we're like the biggest like threats and challenges, and that's going to be the biggest thing in the merge. So when it comes down to that, we should team up together so we can like be all good with that, you know, and work together. And they're like, yeah, that sounds great. We should also bring on Justin, which is perfect because that's the last person I need to have info on, because my whole game is about gaining trust and about getting information. If I have trust, I have power. If I have information, I can control the game. So so I've got that. I've essentially put myself in alliance with every single team member in my tribe. Additionally to that, I not only went to Becca about being final 2, I went to Luke. I says, dude, we got a great like vibe. We're both homeschoolers. We both have like religious upbringings. And he's like, absolutely, let's be final 2. All about it. Bam, got another final 2. I talked one-on-one with Gracie. Immediately was like, I think that you're really smart, you know, and I can be like the one to help you get through challenges. You know, we can work together. And I feel like a really good connection with us. Let's be a final 2. She was all about it. So in that 4 that I'm favoring right now, I've got a top 2 with all of them. So I've got that all going on. And that's just this tribe. So I talked to, what was the first ones? I'll just go with the most significant ones. First off, Sam from the Blue Tribe was immediately the one that kind of stuck out to me, mostly because she's also an extrovert. I'm an extrovert, so I immediately connect with that. But she's been more connecting with Becca, which is totally cool with me. Becca's been feeding me all the information and saying that she thinks that we can use her as an ally down the road, and I've been letting her have the credit because I want other people to be doing stuff. My job isn't to be a peer, to be controlling the game. It's all underground for me. So she's working on that. Meanwhile, I talked to Lance from the Blue Tribe as well. He does a lot of like DJing, you know, I do podcasting. We're both nerds, immediately hit it off. And we found out that we're both really straightforward people, and we agreed that like, hey, you know, we're just like trying to make connections. We realized that the social game's not our strong point. But then I also brought up the point that, because this is the persona that we're pitching our team, that we're really good buddies, but no one's really talking about strategy, which isn't too far-fetched because Blue Team is in the same position right now. So that's what we've basically been pitching. And I said that, look, I've been talking to people about strategy, but nothing's really compelling that's going on. When the like switching or whatever happens, like if we end up on the same team, like we can count on each other for doing that. Like absolutely. I was like, and this is the big thing. I always made like, I'll keep you in the loop, you keep me in the loop, and like absolutely. And I'm getting that information, I've gained that trust, making connections from outside. Then I talked to Brendan from the Orange Tribe. We competed together in the slingshot thing, so we already had a small bond from that. And literally, we were all in this big mass talking in between a challenge, and we just kind of happened to be in the corner just out of earshot from everyone where we could talk quietly and not be heard. And I was just kind of talking about general game stuff and then kind of slowly worked it into strategy. And I just kind of brought this like, yeah, I want to do stuff, because it's like social game is not my strong point, but I'm not an idiot. I know that's an important part of Survivor, and no one is really doing anything. He's like, oh man, that really sucks. Like, we're having a hard time too. I was like, yeah, like I'm just trying to get something going. It's not seem like it's going to kick in until we like mix things up, because he said that they don't think that it's going to stay like this, which they're right, but that doesn't mean you don't start doing stuff. I've been doing stuff since the first hour we started this game. So, and that's why I'm in control, because I've been ahead of the curve. And I told them, because something that interesting came up, I know some people in this game. Orange is a huge threat, and they're the most dysfunctional, because they have what seems like all the alpha personalities. What's also interesting is that they have Austin and they have David, which are, in my opinion, the two biggest threats of this game, mostly in challenges. If you have them in the merge, that's going to be a really rough time. So I would love to work with them, but that just does not work for this game. They're huge threats. And so basically all the people I like in Orange are crazy big threats, and all the other ones I'm not a big fan of. So I'd rather just not see them exist anymore. And the Blue Tribe is feeling the same way. So us Red Tribe are planning, when things get mixed up, working with the Blue Tribe, get rid of Orange and go from there. Because here's the best part. I've been working about all these underground pecking orders of all these things, but no one else is really talking about pecking orders, at least to my knowledge. There's probably some murmurs and stuff like that going on, but at least with my core stuff, I know it's rock solid. The thing with Donna and Jason and the others, that's a bit more shaky, but I check in every now and then to see, like, I'm still very interested. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're working on their own thing, but that doesn't matter because I've got the majority from them. So, but the big mentality that we're all behind is that we said that, hey, it is very unlikely that this team is going to be voting each other out, like this exact team. There's probably going to be swap before we're voting people out, based off of past history of Survivor and past history of Survivor Challenge. It just makes for better gameplay, so they're gonna do it. And because of that, we decided, look, we have no reason to make like pecking orders or strategies, because we should use this because we gel so well together. We freaking love the crap out of our tribe. Let's meet back in the merge. Be the majority, take out everyone else, and then just take it from there. Because I told them, look, if any of you guys becomes the winner, I'll be happy with that. And like everyone's in the same motive. So our plan right now is, and I've been kind of like subtly leading this charge. I pitched this, kind of been fueling it, and every day it gets more and more popular. And now it is our die-hard plan, which is after we get mixed up, we will do everything possible to survive and get to the merge as Red Tribe. We want to get that majority back in merge, and we reconvene together and just take out everyone else. All right. And that's what everyone is game for right now. So I've got this overall strategy that's keeping everyone busy about freaking strategy stuff. Meanwhile, I've got like 5 different pecking orders to work with. So depending on the situations, depending on who I have in the merge, I have lots of options. Best part, I told Andy in my morning confession, was that I feel like Survivor is like a game of poker. You get dealt many different hands. You can get dealt a really good hand, but it doesn't mean you win. You can get dealt a really bad hand, but it doesn't mean you lose. I feel like with this tribe, this is my dream tribe. It's got no alphas. It's got no people who are control crazy, you know. You've got people who are like pretty smart. Like Donna is by far the biggest threat on this tribe, by far. She is really, really smart, and I don't think people realize that, but I've been keeping a very close eye on her and trying to be extra buddy-buddy with her, so I'm on our good side. And as far as I know, I am, but who knows. And so with this tribe, with this mentality, because I thought about this plan on the way here, I was like, knowing the fact that this team that you start out with isn't going to be voting each other out in that exact format, that is the best alliance to do. It's hard because every single person has to be on board in order for it to work, because you have to carry that to merge. So you're talking about probably 2 days worth of just people doing their own thing. And you got to trust them, and they're not just going to do something else. And that's a long time. So that's a really crazy strategy. But it just so happens that this team is so crazy in love with each other that that's all they want to do, because we are like, this is like the best setup. We had the best night last night. We've been downplaying it, saying that it was a bad night. We had a blazing fire from sundown to sunrise. We've been having all the laughs and just a good time, and we're already getting emotional by the fact that we're not going to be a tribe for much longer. And that's the exact kind of thing that I was hoping for, and that's the only way that this strategy works, and I think it's actually going to work it.
Well, So today on Upan, so we woke up, I think, super early. Kind of basically when the sun came up, we were all up, and tried, of course, all we're talking about is trying to figure out like what's going to happen today. And we do have a couple members that have been on the crew before or that have seen the game before, so they obviously are throwing out things that they know and some knowledge from past years. So a lot of trying to predict what's going to happen. We knew that today was probably going to be a day full of reward challenges and nobody getting voted out, so I think some of the strategic chatter was at a minimum because we were kind of expecting to stay together for the day, but there's been plenty of strategic chatter above and beyond that anyway. So yeah, we really wanted to go in and like win today because we did so horribly at the challenge yesterday, and the map thing for my group was horrible. So we really wanted to prove ourselves today and just show that we weren't going to get walked all over. So really glad that we did pretty well at the first challenge. We came in second and then came in first with the balancing the blocks challenge. We like finished it very quickly and the other two struggled for a really long time, so that was entertaining to watch. Struggled on a couple other challenges, but I think we've learned that like maybe upper body strength isn't our forte as a team. But came through in the last challenge, won that one, which was pretty awesome. Didn't beat the alumni team, but still won the challenge out of the three main teams. So all in all, I think we've had a good day. I think we were actually just saying it's kind of nice we feel like we're kind of in the middle. I think a lot of people see the orange team as a big physical threat. I think a lot of the teams see blue as kind of probably more of a social, strategic, they're winning a lot, so I think they're a threat, and I feel like we're kind of in the middle. I don't know if that's true, but I think that's what we were thinking in terms of how people are kind of seeing our team. So all in all, I think it's a good day, continuing to bond. And our main goal today, as much as possible, because there was so much interactivity between the teams, was to try to connect with as many blue players as possible, start to build those relationships, because our goal is towards any sort of switch up is to try to latch onto the blue and knock out the orange folks. Yeah, so on Kia, the two guys I connected with right away were Colin and Travis. I got to talk to Colin a little bit during the launching of the balls challenge. Just kind of whispered to him that we were interested in working with blue because orange was obviously dominating physically. That's when like David Crowley was basically killing everyone in that challenge. So I think he's a big strategic threat, super nice guy, and I think he probably, has a good personality for this game too, so a big threat there. But I really like Colin and Travis on the blue team. I think it would fit nicely with kind of the group I'm working with on my tribe. And then I really like Julia. Pretty much any blue person that we've talked to, we've really liked. Everybody was kind of saying that anytime they connect with a blue person, they seem really open to working with us, and they seem on the same page as seeing orange as a pretty big threat. They're all nice. I mean, everybody on Zika is really nice. I think they're very physically, they seem to be a dominating team. And so I think we see them all, like, I don't want to see any of them in individual immunity challenges. I just don't think any of us will stand a chance against them from a physical standpoint. But it's obvious that as a team, they don't necessarily communicate or utilize that physical strength towards their benefit. I think they fall apart in challenges. As we saw, they were pretty much struggling in everything. Except for that memory challenge. Somehow they beat us on that. But yeah, I think they're all nice people. I just think they all seem like physical threats. Christine is the one that Donna was saying potentially might be flippable if we did want to kind of pick up an orange person along the way. I think we're anticipating some sort of shuffle, and I think our goal is to connect with blue people, but if there are any orange people that seem on the bottom or out of the loop or not part of kind of that physical, we kind of see this physical group that we see them kind of pairing off and talking to each other a lot. So Rachel and David, and I'm terrible with names, but there's a few others that seem like kind of Brendan, I think, the kind of the physical, a lot of the guys, they seem like they're kind of in a clique. So there might be a few stragglers that we might be able to pick up along the way and kind of form a new kind of unit of people that we feel like would be a pretty even playing field. On Upan, I'm really close with Gracie. Hopefully she's saying the same. But I basically established, we've had a couple of times to talk one-on-one. I basically said, you are my kind of ride or die. I want one person that I can really rely on and talk strategy to, kind of no filter. And she has at least said to my face that she feels the same way. So I think she's kind of my number one. I really like Louis. I've had less of a chance to kind of get too strategic with him, but I think the three of us could work really well together. I think we're trying to figure out who we want to pull in above and beyond that. I think Jason, Donna, and William are all kind of working together. Though Jason, kind of when we're alone, seems not kind of to want to hold on to William, but once William's around and as we talk as a kind of a group or a threesome, he seems about it. So I'm trying to figure out that nugget of people. And then I feel like Becca's kind of floating and no one really knows where she stands or who she's kind of with. I think early on I thought she was pretty close with William, but yeah, for me, Becca's a mystery. I actually just talked to her on the path walking by being like, hey, we should connect because she and I haven't talked strategy and I feel like she's going to get caught in the middle maybe with me. So we'll see. And then Luke is a little bit of a question mark. We all like Luke, but he's not feeling great and kind of struggling with kind of the heat and being nauseous. So we kind of want to reel him in, but if he's going to be physically ill or maybe potentially leave, that would be bad for us. So yeah, I feel like there's almost two sides of kind of Jay, Donna, and William, and then Lewis, Gracie, and I, and then Becca and Luke are kind of floating in the middle, and we're trying to figure out like how to best put that stuff together. So we're all getting along great, and we have a plan as a team, but within that team, I wanted to have kind of a core group that hopefully through any sort of swaps or mixtures that I can keep relationships there. But our ultimate goal is to try to, I think every team thinks this way, but is to come back together, do what we have to do in any sort of swap or transition to, stay alive and come back together and hopefully pick up some blue people or maybe some orange outliers. But ultimately, they come back together and hopefully run the game from there. If I had to vote like right this minute, it probably would be William, mostly because he's probably playing the most aggressive strategic game, talking to a lot of people, planning a lot of ideas of strategy in people's heads as a group. And he came up with this idea of kind of telling the other teams that like we didn't have fire the first night and like we're really struggling, and I think he was forcing some deception that wasn't really necessary. And I just think he's really aggressive. He's super fun to talk to, and I actually think he's a good asset from a physical standpoint. But if I had to go right now and write someone's name down, it would probably be him. My backup might be Jason, just because, again, I think besides William, he's playing the most aggressive game, and I think has a little bit of paranoia mixed in with that aggressiveness. And I feel like he and William and Donna are kind of doing the same thing that I'm doing, but they're obviously not part of my group. So I think taking one of those three out makes the most sense if the other five of us can kind of come together and agree upon that. So the best part, hands down, is just like playing the game. And then we really haven't even got into like the voting part. So that's a little weird to say, but just like doing the challenges, connecting with people that are not in your tribe, like trying to build relationships, that's like the best part by far. For me, I think personally, there's been a couple challenges that I was hoping I'd do better in that I didn't, especially holding up the plates. That was horrible for me, and I kind of, all we had to do was just outlast Kia to get the feast, and we couldn't do it, and I hate that. So that was probably my lowest moment. Outside of that, it's probably just like the downtime between activities. I think we're all just so itchy to play the game and do the challenges, and so like having even just 5 or 10 minutes in between, we're just like we have all this pent up energy that we want to keep going. So yeah, so I think overall it's been a great experience, but I think the next kind of phase is going to be where like the real stuff comes to life. So today was super cool. We had a bunch of reward challenges. We won a few of them. We had a lead in the beginning, so it was feeling pretty good, and then we started to lose it. And we kept saying, we're gonna win, and then we didn't. But then we won the last challenge, which was super fun, and it was like a big morale boost, and we got more rice, and we got the extra reward, and it was just a nice
boost of morale. It was super hot. People were starting to get dehydrated, so they gave us electrolytes. It was nice. I had a little bit of a headache, but I think that was just because I was wearing something around my head. I don't think that had anything to do with the sun. I was feeling okay. Communication led to our success, for sure. I think we have good communication, good chemistry as a group. So I feel that chemistry is huge when you're working in a game. You always have to have like good communication. You always have to talk things out. Especially that last challenge, when we worked through the ropes, it was a lot of like go up, under, up, like Becca up, and then it was like Gracie go under. It was a lot of good communication, which was definitely necessary. When we lost, I would say it just wasn't something that was like in our strength, you know, stuff that we just had a little slip up on. I don't know if I can even think of a worst.
Okay.
I think we're all pretty equal. I think maybe a best. I mean, Gracie and Louis kept swimming, which was super good.
Okay.
But William and Justin really came in with that hand challenge. They really held their strength, which was really cool. No, we did not.
But you guys just did.
We came in last, but they were the only two left for a while. We all kind of dropped really quickly, and they stayed in for a while. I'm really connecting with William.
Okay.
I'm really connecting with Gracie, Luke, Louis, but I would say really William and Gracie. Oh, I've connected with the whole tribe. I think I've really felt like a good connection, but in terms of people I've talked to about working with, those are the people I just mentioned. Oh my, I don't like that at all.
We are going to vote some people out. So.
We are, yeah. I would probably say maybe Jason, just because he knows this stuff inside and out. He's super like strong-minded about it, and he's always thinking about every angle, and maybe like a little bit paranoid, maybe. I don't know. I'm just not working with him, and he seems to have everything thought out, and that's just a little scary to knock out bigger.
What do you think happens tomorrow?
Tribe swap. That's what I'm thinking would happen tomorrow.
Okay, so another tribe?
Yeah. I've gotten a pretty good vibe from Sam on Kia. I feel that I could talk to her. I think she kind of signaled something at me today. I don't know, because when Zika walked up, they came up and Kia and Upan were already talking, and she was like, "Oh, Zika's coming in," and I was like, "Oh, right, like finally, you know." And she was like, kind of tried to be like, "Oh," but I like couldn't hear her.
Okay.
But I think she tried to like say something, so I want to talk to her.
Okay.
We feel that. I think the whole tribe wants to stick together. Upan just wants to stay Upan strong, and I feel that we really can do it. I don't think any of us are going to flop on that. We really seem to be strong, and yeah, we're thinking about trying to bring in some of the blue, more blue, more Kia, rather than Zika. Yes. Let's say Colin, and I don't remember his name. There's another guy that seems like he's close with Colin and Sam, but I don't know. It's just the outside.
Okay.
They both seem pretty cool, all three of them. And then I think in Zika there seems to be some cracks already that we've already talked to you about. I think that just Christine was telling us that she's like on the outs. People seem to find Bruce, I think, annoying. My worst was definitely the one with the hands. I dropped before it even started. I couldn't even get it up. I would say my best was the last one. I think I worked well on the puzzle. It's been awesome. Okay. I love it. I really do. It's been super cool. Awesome. I'm really happy about it.
Well, we wish you the best.
Just having fun.
Yeah, so we started off the day really strong with like that block challenge that we just like destroyed everybody at, and really just it's just ups and downs. I feel like we're a well-balanced tribe challenge-wise, and we communicate really well. There's just sometimes not every challenge is for us. I don't really judge anybody based on their challenge performances, because I don't really care how good they are at challenges. I really just care about like loyalty and personality, ability to work with people. So I didn't even really pay attention. Like I know that like Justin and William like really stepped up today. I feel like they did great in the challenges. But like I said, that doesn't really affect who I want to work with. I'll work with anybody in my tribe, but the people that I'm aligned with most closely, I would say, is Gracie, Becca, and William. and I have a side thing with Justin.
Okay.
Justin proposed to me today a alliance of 4 with myself, him, Gracie, and Louie, which I'm not like super stoked about because I don't really like want to have to like me and Gracie be kind of like the people that are going back and forth. I feel like that's just not really a spot I want to be in with Gracie. I don't know if I just don't feel that comfortable with her that we're going to be the 2 people in like a pivotal position. I don't trust her that much.
Okay.
So that could be interesting moving forward, but I mean, it all depends on if we stay on these tribes or not. I mean, we've all been speculating that we're going to be swapping tribes. I don't think that we're going to be staying in these until a merge or something like that, because we've been together for so long. It's kind of time to meet new people and enter a new phase of the game, I think. I will definitely work with Donna on a swap, like very closely.
Okay.
It's just, I don't really know how to, she is older, so she always interact in a different way. So like, I feel like she has good one-on-one relationships with people, but as far as forming an alliance, I don't really know like who would be in an alliance of me and Donna, and like who else, I don't know who else would be there. Jason, I'm not really interested in working with him.
Okay.
He has like met a lot of people here because he goes to so many casting calls. He has like maybe 1 or 2 close relationships outside of our tribe, but he just like can connect with a lot of people. He's like, oh, I've seen you. I don't know, it's just not really my cup of tea. Just, it's weird because we have said from the beginning that we just like the blue tribe. Like, the orange tribe just seems like a bunch of assholes, and like they're just,
keep bringing it, yeah.
they're aggressive, and then it seems like there's kind of 2 weaker girls, Jen and Christine, who kind of seem, maybe they're on the bottom because they're not as good at challenges. I heard that Bruce is on the outs because he's maybe just like too aggressive, maybe kind of like the equivalent of our Jason. So from the blue tribe, I really like Sam, but I don't think I would trust her because she seems like everybody's gonna like her. I think I connected well with Julia today and Travis. Those are probably the 2 people I would want to work with most on a swap. It's not that Travis and I had a great conversation, but he's just kind of like a nerdy guy who I think it's just a natural fit for me and him to work together. We were down there for so long that we were just like, eventually it was like, well, we have nothing else to do. We're so bored. Like, we might as well talk to everybody else. But nobody wanted to be the first person to be like, to make the move to like bring everybody together. No one wants to like stand out.
I was kind of helping with other stuff I didn't really see when it started.
It really started like with one-on-one people, I think. Yeah. I think like Jason and Anthony started talking, and I don't know, I'm kind of just like decided like we should all move up there. And I think blue and orange had already been doing it before. Red kind of moved up, but it was good because we do really, I mean, it's kind of, it's overly simplistic, and I think this whole tribe, our mindset is so simplistic, and it kind of irritates me that it's just like, we're going to be red strong, we're going to stay together as long as possible, we're going to work with blue, and we're just going to eliminate all the orange. It's like, that's not how the game works. I'm like, that's not gonna work, and it's a nice idea, and it's fine if that's what people are saying for strategy purposes, but it's just like, I'm not gonna just work with somebody because they're on the blue tribe. Like, if I'm on a tribe with somebody that's orange, I'm not gonna like write them off and not talk to them. That's dumb. And we don't know what the blue tribe is thinking. Maybe they don't want to work with us. It's hard to say, and I think I'm gonna go like I always do, just based off of individual personalities, not necessarily who's your tribe, are you good at challenges. It's just like, if I click with you, I click with you, and I'll work with you. Yeah, I mean, I woke up feeling not bad. I just didn't get any sleep last night, so I knew it was gonna be rough. Just after the first challenge, just doing all the sprinting, I just felt pretty nauseous and had a pretty severe headache, and I pushed through it for a while, and we had a couple more challenges, and eventually like Gracie asked me, she's like, Luke, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm like, it's not good. And so she's the one who called over a volunteer, and eventually Smitty came over and thought that I should sit out the challenge, and got all that sorted up, threw a bunch of water, and I'm feeling better, but I'm worried tomorrow. Just because the other tribe saw me that I wasn't competing, and then I kind of, had to sit out. So it is worrying because people are going to vote on challenge strength tomorrow. So I could be seen as weak already, and I'm not, like, even when I'm healthy, I'm not a great challenge competitor anyway. So it's like, just another notch against me, I feel like. Okay. The best part of this so far has been like the non-game part. Like, we just have fun like talking and being around each other. I feel like there hasn't been enough strategy for me. And like I said, we're probably not going to tribal council in these tribes. We don't know. But it makes sense to not over strategize. I just get bored with just like we go over the same strategy of what we're going to do on swaps and merges. And it's just like, no, this is not how it's going to go, guys. And I'm ready to like cut people. Bruce, probably. And it seems like he's on the bottom, so it would make sense to work with him. He just is really aggressive, like even because he was in my, when the challenge that we split into different groups and we were in twos, he was on our side, and like he was really good at the challenge. Like he was aggressive in a good way during the challenge, but he just didn't really seem like that people oriented. I don't know, he just has kind of like a brash sort of behavior to him. And then other people that just maybe aren't people that I want to work with, like Brendan just doesn't, I don't think I want to work with him. He seems more of like a bro's bro, which is not fly with me.
Not your cup of tea?
Nope. I don't think so. Like I said, I didn't talk as much strategy as I wanted to today because I just was not in the right headspace to even socialize for most of the day. So hopefully I'll be in a good mindset tomorrow, because when it's going to really count tomorrow.
Today was crazy. I think we came in as the underdogs, and so we felt like we had nothing to lose, and so we came into that first challenge and dominated. So it was really fun, like a big uplifting team camaraderie thing but not only to win, but then to win by about 20 minutes. So it was really fun sitting in the winner's seat and just waiting. After that, we kind of had we were in the lead for over half the day, and then we kind of lost that lead, but then we got second. So now we've been eating rice nonstop. For second place, we got 2 hot dogs and 2 hamburgers with huge cups of ketchup, relish, and mustard. I'm still waiting for someone to eat the full cup of relish. I split a hamburger.
Okay.
So we all split it, since there were 4 total. We all split it in half.
Okay.
But then one of our girls is kosher, so she didn't get a half. I think my best challenge would be both of them with the swim. It kind of put me in a hero role, thankfully, because we did have to work so much. So we were the ones doing the majority of the challenge. So we got a lot of slaps on the backs, and congratulations for that. So I think that was probably my best, just because we did well in those challenges. And there was a lot of swimming. The worst, the matching game, that was awful. We couldn't remember anything, and it was such a clutch time for us. That was when it was a make it or break it with the blue, and we just lost miserably. And we were all in the sun, and then Luke almost passed out. So that was fun. Luke was kind of off throughout the day. We didn't know how bad he was feeling until we were going into the last challenge. And I saw him laying down. I said, "Luke, are you doing okay?" And he goes, "I'm not doing so good." I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" He said, "I'm nauseous and I'm getting dizzy." And so that's when I called in our handler and said, "We need electrolytes now before he starts puking." Okay. Within Upan, I feel like I've connected most with Justin. It started out when he came and approached me. I was super wary and cautious. It seemed like one of those that he had just kind of thrown out at everyone. And then like in different conversations, he would look at me and wink, or like give me the eyes, and I'd give him the eyes. And so I kind of felt more and more comfortable. And then at one point in the challenge, we had to pair up. And so he immediately grabbed me, and I was like, that's a good sign. So when he grabbed me, I kind of knew, okay, he's still thinking me. And then at one point it was just the 2 of us, and none of our other tribe mates were there. And he was like, "I feel like you're someone I can talk strategy with. Like, I want one person that we can just talk and not be afraid." And so I feel like he's one of those people that we can talk big strategy and it not freak anyone else out. A lot of other people on our tribe aren't into huge strategy right now, but I think with him I could throw out the craziest idea and he'd be like, "Yeah, let's make that work," and vice versa. Yeah, I love Louie. I think Louie is a strong competitor, and we spent a ton of time together in the water and then on land, like while we were waiting for our other tribe mates to complete their portion of the challenges. So we got to talk quite a bit during challenges today, and I just feel like he's one of those solid people that I could easily see myself riding a long way with. I'm not connecting with Jason and Donna, even though I really wish I was with Donna. I feel like she's an awesome player, but they have paired up way too many times, and we've kind of seen them on the outs way too many times. So we know they're working together, but we're just not sure who they plan on bringing in. And right now I feel like I know exactly where the alliances are, and they don't fall in either one of them. There's two. So I'm in the middle of both alliances right now. There's a strong 5, and then there's a strong 4.
Okay.
So I really want to ride it out with Justin, but he's in the 4. He's not in the numbers right now. So I'm currently trying to figure out, okay, if I stick with the 5, how can I pull Justin in, and then we flip later on the alliance.
So,
in the 5 is me, Justin, Becca, Lewis, and Luke.
okay.
So that is the 5. And then on the other side, it would be me, Justin, Lewis, and Luke.
Okay.
And so I would need to talk more with Lewis and Luke, but I feel like they'd be willing to go either side. But right now the safer bet is with the 5, and it seems like everyone's on board for that. But now I have to figure out how to not let Justin get voted out if we stick together, and how we can use numbers later. And I think it'd be me, Lewis, and Justin that could kind of flip things on its head later. William is on the 5. I thought I said him.
Did I miss it, or I don't know.
I may have not said, yeah.
I didn't hear it, but
On the alliance of 5.
I heard Justin, Becca, Louie, and Luke.
Justin. Okay, on alliance of 5, Justin, Lewis, Becca, me. Oh. 6. Did I say William?
I thought I heard 5 and 4, so I'm just trying to make sure my numbers are matched.
Right, 5. Okay. William, Becca, they go together. They're a pair. Lewis and Luke, me. So it'd be 6.
So, I'm just trying to figure it out. It's okay.
Yeah.
Run the numbers. It's either 5
Oh, that's
or
right,
6.
because Justin isn't in that one.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
William, not Justin, in that one.
Okay.
Justin is in the 4. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as the other tribes go, we really like Blue. We really like Kia. I think it was kind of like this vibe we got off at the beginning. Zika, like when we first walked in, we just got a lot of looks and then whispers. And so one guy, I think it was Justin, just immediately was like, oh man, it's a bro club, it's a bro club. And so we all just decided, hey, let's go for Blue.
Okay.
And even just a little bit ago, someone on Blue shared a major clue with me.
What was that?
So there are 3 rocks in our campsite, and she told me that go to the 3 rocks, and then the nearest tree, walk a little bit past it, and there's a reward there waiting for you. So I don't know if she's told anyone else that, but I'm trying to figure out, do I tell other members of the tribe, or do I somehow try to go over there unaware, even though we have all of the firewood? And I just peed, so I don't know how that's gonna work. Someone else did in our tribe, so I was not the one to personally find the 3 rocks, but they told me the area-ish.
Okay.
But they picked up and moved the rocks. So Jason is really all about putting it all out there. Like, he wants all disclaimers just on the table so he won't be a target. And so he had told us, okay guys, I found these 3 random rocks. Just so you know, I went ahead and picked them up and put them by the fire. And we were like, oh, okay, got it. But I don't think anyone else saw it. Right. I feel like my prediction today was just that we would become a way closer tribe, and I would find where the real alliances were versus these snap alliances that happen real fast. Now I feel like I know where the lines are and which way I need to go. However, we know a swap is coming, so we just feel it. We're like, I kind of almost hope I don't have to vote anyone on our tribe out right now. But at the same time, it brings in a whole new unknown element when you merge, or not when you merge, but when you swap tribes. So there's insecurity in both, but I feel like I have the pulse of our tribe right now, but that could change right now as I'm sitting here. Yeah, the best part of this whole experience, I mean, the challenges are just so fun, and something that they don't know is that I did a 40-day backpacking trip in the wilderness. So just something about being in the outdoors like brings out just the rawest sense of who I am. So I feel like I'm more of a personality than I wanted to be coming in here. I kind of wanted to be this muted, just muted little girl coming in and then later making the big moves. But I've noticed being here in my element, I'm speaking up more and I'm contributing more, and just more of a personality at camp than I wanted to be. So that's probably the best, but also the hardest part. Yeah.
Upan had a roller coaster of a day. We won some challenges, we lost some challenges, but all in all, I think we had a successful day. We work really well as a team, which is super exciting to know. I don't know how useful that's going to be in the coming days, but we figured out what our strengths are, we figured out what our weaknesses are, and we learned how to communicate in a way that was the most useful for all of us in stressful challenge moments. But all in all, I would say we had a pretty successful day. And I think it was a good cap to day 2, because I think everyone now is settled in and kind of has the best feel for how everyone is doing in the game so far. I think the things that made us super successful in the challenges were that we had discussed our strengths the night before. And we really, when we would huddle and strategize, we just reflected upon what we thought our strengths were, and everybody just trusted each other. And sometimes the chips just fell not in our favor. I think everybody was giving 110% in everything that they could be doing, which was great, because I always felt like even if I wasn't being as successful as I thought I would be at a certain aspect of a challenge, I never felt like there were negative eyes or energies around me where I felt bad about maybe underperforming. I would think my best challenge was the very first challenge this morning, when I was a swimmer in the water, retrieving the balls and gathering the balls and throwing them back to the people up on land. One of my strengths I discussed last night is that I'm a strong swimmer, and I think I proved that to my team. And not only was I a strong swimmer, but I can tread water fairly well, and I was fairly decent at actually throwing the balls back up on land, which that was a shock to me, because I play in a gay dodgeball league, but I'm not very good at any aspects of dodgeball, throwing, catching, dodging, so I really surprised myself. Maybe I should get into water polo. My least successful challenge, I think, was, let me think real fast. I don't know what the challenges were. Happy 4th of July. Mixing of a hot dog real bad. I would say my weakest challenge performance today was perhaps on the puzzle at the end, our very last challenge, because there were a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and I misunderstood one of the directions, and I was trying the locks to unlock the puzzle bags, and I was doing the wrong color, so it cost us a little bit of time. And with so many voices, I was trying to calm the team down, but really I was just not helping at all. So I think that was my poorest performance of the day. Otherwise, I feel like I did a pretty good job in pulling my weight in the challenges. I'm actually kind of surprised myself, because I was expecting to be more of a hot mess. From this morning, I would say that my alliances so far have remained the same. Okay. I click really well still with Gracie and with Justin, and I have good relationships with everybody, which is what I wanted, but I do have an idea of who I want to work with strongly and who's in my core alliance. Outside of Gracie and Justin, I also want to work with, I think Jason and I are really aligning at all. Okay. Emotion-wise. Ew, go away.
Busy day. And it was hot, but as a team, I think we did very well together. Luke got a little bit sick. I think he ended up drinking too much water, I think is what he was told. But yeah, it just got hot, but you know what? Our tempers never flared. I mean, we have a great group. It's going to be hard to, determine the next steps. I mean, we know it's coming, and we know tonight might be the last good night, until, the bloodbath. It seems to me, and this comes usually from like William or Jason, that they because of their background with the Survivor Challenge, it's like, oh, they're going to do a switch up, or, you know, they never have the same tribe, or they, you know, oh, we're going to do something tonight, you know, we're not going to stay the same. So there's not been a lot of strategy talk, because this mindset that you know, because William talks a lot, and he keeps kind of saying, oh, you know, we don't even have to worry about it, because, you know, they'll mix it up before we actually do immunity challenges. But you know, I've had conversations with Justin, and Louie and I kind of chatted briefly today, but you know we need to talk. I've had conversations with Jason, but there was really no talk of strategy today, because it was so busy and there was just no alone time. And so it's one of those, you know, we could go in tomorrow, we could go in tonight, so you just don't know. And you know, I kind of mentioned to Andy yesterday that I thought that depending on how today went, you know, you could see Jason as the first target, you could see William as the first target. But William's strength is, you know, so even though he ratted me out, you know, I'm trying to put that personal stuff aside and say, okay, to keep it strong. But I don't know what the future holds. So yesterday, you know, when we kind of got into the camps, and there was one point where the three girls, we went up to the bathroom. And when we had gone to the bathroom, William took it upon himself to tell all the guys in the camp that I had played previously. And so, I didn't feel that was his story to tell. It was just, I was waiting till we were all together. You know, we had hung the tarp. So I was helping Jason hang the tarp, and he said to me, hey, Survivor Dress Lady, and hey, you know, I've watched your season. So I said, well, I haven't had a chance to, you know, kind of, you know, tell everybody. I just figured, you know, fireside chat. And then later on, Justin told me that William had said this, and you know, before he had told me, I had already at this point had told, you know, the tribe. I said, you know, hey, I just want to let you know, you guys, I've played previously. You know, season 4, I was voted out 9th out of 24, and you know what, I was a last minute alternate. They called me, like, you know, the day before. I just kind of just prefaced it that they needed help, and I had had my stuff. So anyway, but William's been talking a lot, just like that he knows it all, you know, and this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And, you know, we're trying to say, look, this is an unpredictable, you don't know. You don't know if there's going to be, you know, a switch up. You don't know. So we're having some discussion about Austin's advantage and who he may have selected. And so we, you know, thought that, okay, well, you know, William knows him. Did William get one? And then Jason knows him, and did Jason get it? Jason hasn't come yet. But the talk was that, okay, you know, if Austin gives the advantage to any of us, we'll all let everybody else know. So, you know, who knows if everyone's going to hold true to that. William said he didn't get it, and Jason hasn't been here. But, you know, Jason said, look, I went out into the pond, and, you know, he didn't really say wink, wink, nod, you know, like that might have got it. So there was also discussion that Lance on the Blue Tribe has played multiple, you know, different Survivor events, and that maybe, you know, he knows Austin, so maybe, you know, he might be getting it, and he's a strong player. And so, you know, we're just trying to have our radar up and have these discussions, which you could say they're strategic because, you know, you're trying to have this outlook of these other tribes. So we've had a lot of discussions on the Orange Tribe and the Blue Tribe. You know, obviously Crowley is, you know, and Bobby, I mean, the Orange team is just stacked, and we saw that today when we were doing that challenge with the, you know, trying to catch the you know, the balls, and it's like, we couldn't compete. We just don't have that, you know, those strong alpha males that those guys. I mean, and so yeah, there was some kind of concern with if we had a tribe mix-up, how would it you know play out. So anyway, really I think we haven't said, you know, whisper, okay, if we go to tribal, who would you think is voted out? I've, you know, already told you who I thought the two might be, but, you know, you never know. It could be me, but you try to create relationships, and that's what I was trying to do this time. And I was just trying to be open and listen and, you know, keep all of my options open, because that I had kind of boxed myself in last time, and I feel like this is, you know, my second chance. And you know, my goal is, like, you know, first is to make the merge, and then, you know, but you know, I was telling Andy, and I said, you know what, you play the first half, you know, that you don't want to lose, but the second half I want to play to win. And you know, you've got to go out there and you have the conversations, and we mixed and mingled with all, you know, the other teams, and you know, you're just trying to assess, like, okay, who may be weak over there that, you know, or on the bottom that we can, you know, pick up. I mean, maybe Christine on the Orange Tribe, and Sam, you know, and Stephanie and Angela, you know, like maybe we can pick up those girls that might be, you know, on the bottom. You know, you don't know until you have the conversations. But I did talk briefly with Christine, and she did say that Bruce was irritating, and she said that, but she kind of said she thought that, you know, he could be first voted out or she could be. So that was just a brief conversation that I had with her, and you know, yeah, just trying to keep my pulse, not just on our team, but the other teams, which again was something that I didn't do last time. And you know, I'm just hoping I'm around long enough to get to, you know, play. Again, you don't have the Survivor players, which you know, you get in awe of how they, you know, it's like, you know, it's really cool, and they know what they're doing, and you know, Sarge was a strong, you know, male competitor, and it was great to have on our team. And then Dan Porsche, and but when we kind of got down to that 6, where Dan and I thought we were tight, like we thought that 6 could, you know, could go to the merge, and then come to find out that, you know, Sarge wanted to throw the challenges to get rid of Dan and I, because he thought we would be the ones most likely to flip, and you know, when we merged, ended up Maria's, you know, the one that flipped. But you know, Sarge had told her that if you don't vote Donna out, you'll be next. So that's why she, you know, flipped. It would have been a 3-3 tie, so she flipped, you know, in 4-2. I went out, and then, you know, Dan went out like the next time that we went to tribal. So again, I was relying on relationships that I had maybe going into the game, and so I didn't play as smart, because I trusted, you know, I trusted friendships over playing the game. And you know, it's like when you play Monopoly, you know, you're trying to beat your opponent, and it's the same way. It's like you have to look at this as a game, and you have to try to beat your opponent, and so you have to have a path to the finish, and that's what I've been working on, which I think I'm stronger minded than I was the last time.
It was an up and down day for us, for sure. We had our hopes set on that picnic barbecue thing, and we came out of the gate doing really well, but then we crashed on some of the challenges, and then one of our people went down, Luke. So, but the last challenge that we had, that puzzle, when we were going against the alumnus here, we did really great. But I mean, to compare versus people that have done this challenge before and done well on this challenge before and had food, I mean, they did great. I really don't know how we crashed, but like, we dominated that wagon wheel challenge, and we felt so superior to every other tribe. I think we just kind of rode it, and we didn't, like, I don't know, our egos were too big, and we just needed to be, our egos popped. Well, Will and I have our own little alliance with Donna and Justin, and I've also connected with, not as tight, but I was with Lewis and Luke a little bit.
Okay.
But the girls, I think, with Donna on that side, Gracie and Becca, I mean, I can't say that I have a bad person in my tribe. Honestly, though, if I had to choose, I'd probably get rid of Will, based on the fact that he's doing all strategy right now, and we're trying to, it seems like it's either his way or no way, and I don't want to just ride coattails. I want to do my own game, and it's just easier not following in somebody's tracks. David Crawley is probably the biggest target for our whole tribe because he's David Crawley. He's a legacy. So, I mean, and the way he's doing challenges and everything, he's Joe. I mean, Joey, terrific. You have to take him out as soon as you can. And we don't, as a tribe, want to even go near him. He's like nuclear. I have kind of a, I know Austin Jackson from last year. So, and I don't know that Brendan, I guess I met him at a casting call, so we have a slight connection before this, but I don't remember him half as much as he remembers me. But on the other tribe,
Kia, yeah, what's up with them?
so Sam Lechner, she and I were at a casting call in Pennsylvania a long time ago, and like I remember her, clearly, and she kind of remembers me a little bit, but I keep adding a couple pieces like, hey, we did this together, and it's coming back, and I think she knows that. But, and I also on, I think it's Zika, the Orange Tribe, is Jen from last year. I know her, but I don't know how much she wants to like play that because we haven't really connected and talked so much. It's more of a passing ships kind of relationship right now. So I think we have something, but we don't want to play it. So that's pretty much all of Zika. And I don't remember. I mean, the guys on that, my whole tribe wants to get with that tribe. And I'm like...
Do you want to do that, or...?
Well, I don't mind doing it if we have the numbers going into it. But I don't want to just say blue and red and we're done. I think we get like a couple blue and we get a couple of the orange and it's all red, and we do it that way, and that way we can play one versus the other and kind of knock off the other tribes and still stay strong with us. The best is you get to compete in the challenges and actually feel like you're on Survivor. I mean, I'm living on like 3 scoops of rice today and an apple core and an orange slice, and that's it. It's real Survivor. We're out in 90-degree weather and guys are passing out beside me, not figuratively passing out, but they're being pulled from challenges because they can't make it in this kind of heat and whatnot. I mean, I'm struggling in challenges too. I should have gotten better in the memory thing. That was horrible for me. But we felt like we strategized wrong, or I felt we strategized wrong when we did that. And we really paid for it in that one. I think as a tribe, we're expecting to have this swap coming up. So we don't know if it'll be tonight. We don't know if it'll be tomorrow, but we are really excited to like still stay strong wherever we go. And if we're like having to throw challenges because we have only a couple people on one tribe versus a majority on the other, if our majority sees that, we'll keep our minority protected if we can. But if it's